Nanavich here.
Davis?
Shayla Davis here.
Blake?
Jason Blake here.
Burke?
This is Matt Burke, and I'm here.
Vaughn?
Tom Vaughn, I'm here.
All here.
Okay. First order of business is the caucus meeting minutes for Monday, September 28, 2020. I would like to make a motion that we accept the minutes as written. Do I have a second?
Chuck Donahue, second.
On the motion made by myself and seconded by Councilman Donahue to accept the council caucus meeting minutes for the city of Garfield Heights for Monday, September 28, 2020 as submitted. Will the clerk please take a roll call vote beginning with Councilman Burke?
Burke?
This is Matt Burke. I vote yes.
Vaughn?
Tom Vaughn, I vote yes.
Dudley?
Mike Dudley, I vote yes.
Donahue?
Chuck Donahue, yes.
Nanavich?
Mike Nanavich votes yes.
Davis?
Shayla Davis, yes.
Blake?
Jason Blake, yes.
Okay, the council caucus meeting minutes for Monday, September 28 passes with 7 yes votes. Okay. Let's get into the legislation at hand tonight, beginning with ordinance number 75, 2020. Does anyone have any questions in regards to ordinance 75, 2020?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Dudley, you have the floor.
I was added on there, correct, Bob?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Is that all, Mr. Dudley?
Yeah, that's all, Mr. Chairman. That's it.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions or concerns or? Okay, if there are none, we'll move on to ordinance number 76-2020. Does anyone have any questions in regards to ordinance 76, 2020?
I would like, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Dudley.
I would like to be added on to 76 as well.
Okay. Barb, did you get that?
Yes, John, I'll add Councilman Dudley to ordinance 76. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. And then ordinance number 77-2020. Does anyone have any questions in regards to that ordinance? Okay. If there are none, that concludes our ordinances for this evening. Do we have anything coming out of committee that we want to talk about at this time?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Councilwoman Davis, you have the floor.
Thank you. I want to say to all of council this evening that I've been in conversations. Councilman Burke and Councilman Vaughn have been involved in those conversations as well via email related to my ask of the city to order laptops for all of council and council clerk. Reason being is that I discovered 2 weeks ago that there was CARES money that had to be spent based on COVID-related expenses. And since we are operating remotely as a council body, I thought that it was critical and important that we have access to technology, as I am the chair of technology and communications, and that we're able to effectively operate as a body of government, having technology in our homes so that we can end up going virtually as we're still doing these teleconferencing calls, and it will hopefully allow us to be able to connect with our residents. As these numbers continue to elevate related to COVID, I don't know how long this would exist. I spoke with our law department today. Everyone received an email from me. I do not expect anyone to have comprehensively read everything and totally understood, but I was asked to draft up a policy. However, There really is no policy for council as it relates to technology outside of something very simple that just simply says, once you get the laptop, you will take care of it. If you happen to no longer be on council for retirement or being voted out, that you will return it back to the city. Tim, I don't know if you want to speak to that a little more. I know we're going to discuss that further. At this time, it doesn't seem like it's necessary for us to have a committee meeting, but I just wanted to share the information with you guys so that everyone was aware. Thank you.
Yeah, see, also, well, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Tim. You have the floor.
Thank you. Yeah, I believe what Sid said is right. I don't think there necessarily has to be a policy that's got to be written up. The city would have its own policy that our HR department would do, but council wouldn't be bound by that. They would have their own, rules. And I would suggest that, I believe we have an ordinance which specifically states that when you are done with council, you have to return your code book. We could probably pass an ordinance that just says when you're done with council, you have to return your laptop. You know what I'm saying? So that would probably cover it, and that way, that you wouldn't be handing out laptops you would never get back. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's just as a matter of course, each councilperson knows that laptop is strictly for city business. You know what I mean? And, that would be their responsibility. And those are just like general rules of ethics that you would have to follow. So I don't think we need to have a meeting. If you guys want, I haven't looked at that ordinance on the code book for such a long time, but I could take a look at it. I could probably draft something for the computers if you want. I think that would just make it very easy for everybody. Just let me know how you want to handle it. Okay?
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, Tim.
Yep. Mr. Dudley, did you have a question?
Excuse me, Tim. Didn't mean to interrupt you guys.
No, that's fine.
I just want to say that, Mr. Chairman, and to the other members of council, I do think that's a good idea. I think we long overdue to kind of move forward a little more into modern technology and stuff, even when we're dealing with, I call it my Ward 1 family and not really constituents, but a lot of them are on Zoom and other things like that, and I would love to be a part of that. If I have to leave and be in a different area, it will still allow me to connect, even if I was out of town, to connect with information concerning council from outside, the state or outside the city. So I think that's a great idea, Councilwoman Davis. I do like that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Dudley. I too would like to say, first of all, thank you, Councilwoman Davis, for really spearheading this, because I think we really need this in order for us to be able to go into those Zoom calls and be more in line with what's going on today with modern technology, especially now during this COVID era. So I really appreciate your efforts. And I think it's going to be on all of us council persons to get familiarized with how to use these laptops and how to use the technology at hand. So that might be something that we might have to meet to discuss, but I think that this is a great thing. That's all I have. Anybody else have anything they want to share?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Mike Donatovich, question.
Okay, Mr. Nanavich, you have the floor.
Yes, what is the cost of this proposed laptop per laptop, and what the accessories and programming and the use of city programs, access to different things, and how do we limit the use of these laptops to just city business? But I'm more interested in the cost and the accessories that go with it.
Councilwoman Davis, do you want to address that, or should I address that?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Councilwoman Davis.
Okay, I'm sorry. My phone went a little haywire. Were you speaking to me? I heard Councilman Nananovich. Did you ask me if I wanted to respond?
Yes,
Yes.
I would like
Okay.
you to respond.
So, Councilman Nananovich, I'm not sure. I did not put in a request for the amount. It's not a budget that's being allocated to council or IT. It's COVID funding money. And when I spoke back to our finance director, it was just a request made. The city will determine that. I did not ask for anything specific outside of a laptop because when it comes to technology, and based off of what our IT director said at the time, you know, tablets and iPads and things of that nature are a little more challenging to use. So a laptop was the most conducive. I'm not looking for anything specific or special, just the ability for us to have access of use. So I don't know. I did not ask that question.
At this time, I would like to know, any decisions made will be based upon cost. I know the technology is necessary as we move on down the road here in this COVID crisis. I myself have a laptop and camera access to my desktop, which I will use from home, plus my phone for Zoom messages. And I'm just wondering how cost effective this will be to the city right now, we're not out of the woods yet, but we are, you know, we're seeing the good side of numbers, and we just don't, you know, throw this caution to the wind and, you know, start adding up a bill where it's going to be, you know, $30,000 for 8 laptops. And then how far are we going to go? Are we going to buy the director's laptops and going down the road there? And also the monitoring of when these laptops are in use, because it's so easy to get a laptop, turn it on, and say, well, I'm looking at city business. Well, just let me check this, and I got to, you know, check my bill or whatever. And how do we monitor that to make sure that it's being used only for city business? Thank you.
So my response to that, Councilman Ananovich, is that, again, this is CARES Act money that the city received that will have to be returned by the end of the year if it's not spent. It can only be applied to a COVID-related expense. And to be quite frank with you, after talking with the finance director, this is why we came up with this idea, because this money will have to be returned back to the federal government if it's not used. So the money is available. I can't see how any laptop for 8 people would cost $30,000. So I would assume they will be anywhere between $500 and maybe $800 each. It would be no need for us to have anything of a higher quality or value than that. In terms of our usage, that is what myself and the law director spoke about. It's just a simple policy. You know, public records requests can be made for anybody's personal information at this point in time. So it's just the discretion of council understanding that it should be only used for city business. Now, if someone chooses to do something else with it, there's no real way to monitor that, but there can be a public records request made, and then you have to respond to that. Thank you.
Thank you,
Councilwoman Davis. Councilwoman Davis, I have a question. So what you're saying is the money for these laptops is coming out of the COVID funds, which we were awarded by the federal government. So it really is not costing the city of Garfield Heights any money. It's money that we got, and if we don't use it, we lose it, correct?
That is correct, yes. That is my understanding. That is what the finance director and I discussed. That's what she explained to me, and that is why I thought that this was a way to, you know, help support council a little further as we are going through this pandemic, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Anyone
Councilwoman.
else? Does anyone else have anything they'd like to bring up or share at this time? If there are none, then I will make a motion to adjourn the caucus meeting at this time. Do I have a second?
This is Tom Vaughn. I'll second.
On the motion to adjourn caucus by myself and seconded by Councilman Vaughn, will the clerk please take a roll call vote beginning with Councilman Burke?
Burke,
This is Matt Burke. I vote yes.
Vaughn,
This is Tom Vaughn. I vote yes.
Dudley,
Mike Dudley, I vote yes.
Donahue,
Chuck Donahue, yes.
Ananovich,
Mike Donatovich votes yes.
Davis,
Shayla Davis, yes.
Blake.
Jason Blake, yes.
Let the record show that at 6:45 p.m. on Tuesday, October 13, 2020, that the council caucus meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to end the live
Hey, Barb.
session.
Yes.
We'll be back.
I am
Oh,